and gentlemen, if you would, come down here. This is my favorite part. Another tiara today. Boy, you know, I have heard that you can go to Burger King and they will give you a crown if you ask for it. I don't know if that's true or not. But if you will find out, let me know. Ned, y'all still hitting the McDonald's circuit, or do y'all are making it over to Burger King? Amen. Well, it's a tiara. One set, two sets of boots. Wait a minute. 3 boots. Avery, where's your boots today? You know what boots are made for? Many years ago, when I was just a new Christian, I was around 14, 15 years old, we would have singings at our church. There was a singing group in our church, and we were so proud of them. The Flint Baptist Church was our home church, and we had, every once in a while, we'd just pull out a Saturday night, and we had several Southern Gospel Quartet groups come to our church, and the church would just be full of people, and they would sing. They'd just sing to us and sing, and people would get up and talk about what Jesus meant to them. They would give their testimony. That's where I met. I know that they're, over the years, I don't know if there is an active group, if this group is active right now, but the different members came along. There were, back then, the beginnings of what was known as the King's Messengers. And they were my favorite. I really liked them. And one night, their pianist, he had been pressed. Evidently, there was a song that he did. And once he did it, he wished he'd never done it, I guess, because wherever he went, then people would ask for it. It's a silly song, but it's also about a preacher. So I'm going to sing that to you this morning because I knew when I heard it that I was going to have to learn how to play it. Have you ever heard the story about the preacher and the bear? The preacher and the bear. It's a story about a preacher who went out in the woods and he ran and he came across a big old grizzly bear. That's what this song is about. But it's also about sometimes we ought to do we always ought to do what we ought to do. And that's what this, you may catch up on that too. Well, the preacher went out walking. It was on a Sunday morning. Now, of course, it was against his religion, but he took his gun along. Well, he shot himself some mighty fine quail. What old measly hair. You know what that is? Red. But on his way returning home, he met a great big grizzly bear. Well, the bear sat down in the middle of the road just as mean as he could be. The preacher, he commenced to shake it, and he climbed a persimmon tree. Well, the bear stood up and he rolled his eyes and he shook his ugly head. Preacher looked up to the skies and these are the words he said. Lord, you delivered Daniel safe from the lion's den. Then you delivered Jonah from the belly of the whale, and then the Hebrew children from the fiery furnace, the good book did declare. Now, Lord, Lord, if you can't help me, for goodness sakes, don't you help that bear. Well, the bear commenced to climb the tree, and that made the preacher sore. Preacher climbed still higher till he couldn't climb no more. Well, about that time a limb gave away and they both came tumbling down. And as that preacher began to pray, you could hear it for miles all around. Lord, you delivered Daniel safe from the lion's den. Then you delivered Jonah from the belly of the whale, and then the Hebrew children from the fiery furnace, the good book did declare. Now, Lord, Lord, if you can't help me, for goodness sakes, don't you help that bear. Well, they fought all the way down to the river, and it was a terrible fight. That bear was really laying it on, but the preacher, he was doing all right. He dragged that beast right down in the water. It was 3 times in and out. The bear got loose, and he limped away. And the preacher, he began to shout, Lord, you delivered Daniel safe from the lion's den. Then you delivered Jonah from the belly of the whale, and then. Now, Lord, it may not seem like much from where you sit up there, but the hardest thing I've ever done was baptizing that bear. Lord, you delivered Daniel safe from the lion's den. Then you delivered Jonah from the belly of the whale, and then the Hebrew children from the fiery furnace, the good book did declare. Now, Lord, Lord, if you can't help me, for goodness sakes, don't you help that bear. If you do what you ought, then you won't get caught like the preacher and the bear. I can't tell if y'all are clapping or calling timeout. I don't even know. I'll figure it out. Well, that is just a silly song. The Lord doesn't mind us being silly every once in a while. And I used to do some hunting of my own too. But I hope that if you ever have to baptize a bear, I hope it all goes well for you. All right? Thank you very much. You can go and sit with your folks again or wherever you were sitting at. Now, if you ever